For years, Clara believed she was an unlucky person. Everything in her life seemed to go wrong, and she repeated that as a silent mantra. On Monday, her alarm clock always failed. On Tuesday, the bus broke down on her way to work. On Wednesday, her computer froze just as she needed to send an important report. On Thursday, someone forgot to reply to her email and she felt invisible. On Friday, it rained right when she left home, dressed up, and her hair turned into chaos. Clara would sigh, look up at the ceiling, and say, "Nothing ever works out for me." But deep down, it was not bad luck. It was habit. She had gotten used to feeding drama, as if there were a strange comfort in always having a sad story to tell. And the more she repeated it, the more the universe seemed to agree. At work, her colleagues laughed and said, "Here comes Clara with another tragedy of the week." She smiled awkwardly, but secretly liked the attention. It was the role she knew well. The charming victim, always suffering, always surviving. Until one day, her friend Helena observed her in silence during a coffee break. When Clara finished complaining about traffic, her boss, and the weather, Helena simply said, "Have you noticed there is always drama in your voice? It sounds like the world is a soap opera and you're the main character of suffering." Clara was offended at first, but that sentence stayed with her. That night, before falling asleep, she listened to herself. She replayed her words from the day and realized everything was loaded with drama. Even something as small as "my coffee got cold" turned into an existential monologue. The next day, she decided to try something new. Inspired by a video Helena had sent her, she began practicing the drama detox 1 week without complaining, without exaggerating, without turning everything into catastrophe. And instead of saying nothing works out, she started asking, "What can I do now to make this work?" On the first try, she failed. She argued with the cashier at the supermarket, but she took a deep breath and laughed at herself. On the second day, her computer froze again, but this time she got a glass of water instead of yelling. On the third day, she realized the delayed bus gave her time to listen to an inspiring podcast. In just 7 days, something began to change. It was not magic, it was focus. Clara began to notice small things that she never saw before. A compliment from a colleague, the sunlight through the window, her nephew's spontaneous laughter, the simple fact of being alive. The unlucky woman she thought she was had only been addicted to emotional drama. When she changed her frequency, life started to respond differently. At the end of the week, Helena asked her, "So, how's your luck now?" Clara smiled and replied, "The same as always. I just stopped turning it into tragedy." And that was the moment she discovered that it wasn't lack of luck, it was lack of serenity. The world was not against her. She had just gotten used to fighting with the present moment. Since then, Clara has lived by one simple truth. Peace doesn't come when everything goes right. Peace comes when we stop creating drama.